Today we're creating one of these. This is a jar with a lid, and we're going to use the thread function, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna use the thread function, and also how we're gonna do a tolerance with the thread function. Otherwise, I'm Hermes Nivo, and I hope you enjoy this video. So let's set up our project. So what we're gonna do is create a new component. We're gonna call this component jar. Click OK. We're gonna create another component, but first we select our project, and then we're gonna create a lid. Just like that. And we can save this file as jar with lid. I'm just going to save it as a jar. Just like that. And our setup is complete. Okay, part one is creating the jar. So what we're going to do now is just go to our browser. We click on our jar. We click on create new sketch. And we're going to use our bottom plane. We can snap our view on our view cube. And now we can make a circle by pressing C, clicking in the center, clicking and dragging out by 65 millimeters. We're going to extrude it by 2 millimeters. And it should look something like that. We're going to create another sketch. We're going to do it on this plane. We're using our offset, so we press O. We're going to do an offset of -3. We're going to click on that profile. We're going to extrude it by 65 millimeters and press enter. Then we create another sketch. So we click on our top of our cylinder. We click on create sketch. We're going to do an offset. So we press O again. We're going to do an offset of -1.5 on the inside circle. And on the outside circle, we are going to do the same at -1.5. This is the part where our thread's going to be. So we click on these two profiles and we're going to extrude it by 6 millimeters. And it should look something like that. So next we're going to add our thread. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to click on thread. We're going to click on this outer cylinder, on the top cylinder. We're going to make it modeled. We're going to leave it at 62. But our thread designation is going to be 1.5. So we click on 1.5. The rest of the settings will stay the same. And we click OK. And we are done with the basics of our jar. Another thing we have to do, since we just created an overhang, is we're going to use our section analysis. We're going to click on one of these planes. As you can see, they are lightly highlighted. We just click on one of these. We can flip our section analysis. We're going to click OK. We're going to snap our view to the front. And as you can see, there is not a lot of plastic in between. So what we're going to do is just extrude this down by 3 millimeters. And then we're going to use a chamfer. We click on that center line. And we're going to do a chamfer of 1.5 and click enter. This is just to prevent overhangs. Since this is at 45 degrees, we won't have any drooping plastic. If we hide our section analysis by going to our browser on the left hand side, we can see that our chamfer has been done all around, even though we had a section analysis. So, next we're going to do the lid. Okay, so now we select our lid. So at our browser, we click on lid. We're going to create a new sketch. And we're going to click on the top of our cylinder right there, as you can see on that top. We're going to do an offset of -1.5. And then we're going to extrude it. So we can press E to extrude, and we can click on this top surface. And as you can see, it extruded. And it extruded by 6 millimeters. But I want to add 2 millimeters of tolerance. So we're going to make this 6 plus 2, so that's 8 millimeters. Then we're going to click on the top of this cylinder. We're going to create a sketch, and it would automatically be able to, and it would automatically give us this profile to extrude. So you can just click on this profile, press E, click on this outer profile, and we're gonna extrude it by 3 millimeters, just like that. And we are done with our basic parts of our lid. What I'm gonna do now is just hide our jar. I'm gonna flip our lid. I'm gonna add a chamfer, and I'm gonna add a chamfer of 1 millimeter, just like that. And now we can do a thread. So we're gonna do a thread on the inside of this cylinder that we have. We click, and we're gonna make it 63. The previous one was 62, and I'm gonna add a millimeter of tolerance. So it's gonna be 63. We're just gonna make sure that it's at 1.5 millimeters when it comes to designation, and all of the other settings stays the same. And we're gonna click OK. Before we click OK, just make sure it's modeled, and we're gonna click OK. And we are done with the thread for both our jar and our lid. Now we can move on to making it look nice. With our lid still active, we're going to go to create sketch. I'm going to click on this top surface. I'm just going to snap my view. I'm going to create a circumscribe polygon, so I'm clicking on inscribe polygon at the top, and I'm selecting circumscribe polygon right there. I click in the center of my circle and drag it out to the edge of my circle, and as you can see, it's at 32.5 millimeters. But I'm going to add 1 millimeter to this, so it's going to be 33.5 millimeters. And I want to change the edges from 6 to 8. So you just press tab, and then you can change the edges to whatever value you like. I'm using 8. And then we click enter. We can extrude this, so we just click on this profile, press E for extrude, and as you can see, we want to extrude it to the bottom of our lid, but we can't. So what we're going to do is just hide our jar, and now we are able to extrude it to the bottom of our lid. And we click OK. What we're going to do now is just chamfer all of these edges. We're chamfering all of these outer edges by 1 millimeter. We can flip our lid around, and we can chamfer all of these edges as well. We can just actually click on our top face, and we can do 2 millimeters on the top, just like that. That is perfect. I hope you're enjoying this video so far. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out our channel a lot. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the video. Now we can move on to our jar. So we're gonna unhide our jar, click on it, and we're going to our bottom face. We click on our face, we're gonna create sketch, and we can snap our view to this, to the bottom. We're gonna press P to project, and we just project all of these outer faces that we have from the top. Just like that. Then we press OK, and we have a profile that we can extrude. We click E to extrude, we hide our lid, and we go back to our cylinder, to the top of it, and as you can see, it just extrudes to our top, and we click OK. Now we're going to chamfer all of these edges, and we're going to chamfer them by 1.5 millimeters. Or actually, let's do it the same as our top, just like that, at 1 millimeter. So usually what I like to do is, between edges that has to meet on each other, like these, I like to add a chamfer. It just makes it look better. Okay, so we have a couple of last chamfers that we want to do, and also a fillet that I also want to do. So we're going to click on our lid and hide it. And on the inside of our jar, I'm just going to make a fillet of 5 millimeters, so nothing can be stuck in that corner. Then we're going to move to our bottom face. We click on it, we're going to chamfer, and we're going to chamfer it by 3 millimeters, and it's going to look like that. We can unhide our lid and choose our entire file, and that's what our jar would look like after we are done with those little changes. So what we're going to do now is just add a text to our sides and also some features to it as well. So what we're going to do first is just click on this side. I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to go to my view cube and I'm just going to rotate it by 90 degrees, just like that. And I'm going to use the text function and I'm going to drag it from the top corner to the bottom corner of my face, just like that. And I'm going to say G-code. You can use any type of font that you feel you want to use and just add it inside. You can also change the text if you want. And then we click OK. I'm going to add a border around it. So I'm pressing R for a border or for a rectangle. I made a border just like this, freehanded. And I know this is 10 millimeters high, so I'm going to add a fillet of 1 millimeter. I usually do a 1% fillet. Press the wrong button there. Just do it again, just like that. 1 millimeter. I'm going to do an offset of 1 millimeter as well. I'm just going to drag it a bit closer. You can use any type of text you want and just drag the border around it to what you feel comfortable with. Then we're going to extrude it, that part and that part by minus 0.3. If we're going to move our object, it's going to snap to a different orientation. So let me show you. Shift, middle mouse button, and then it shifts to the original orientation. And now I want this to be around 4 other corners. So what I'm going to do now is just click on circular pattern. I'm going to hide my lid. And I'm going to choose this extrusion that we just made. My face is selected. So I'm going down to the timeline and I'm clicking on this extruded one. I click on axis and I'm going to click on this inside cylinder and I'm going to do 4. I'm going to click OK. And we are done with that. Looks like this. So I want to add shapes to the ones in between these faces. So I'm just going to snap to the 45 degrees on our view cube. I'm going to create a sketch again. I'm going to go to the surface and I'm going to do an offset of -2. So -2, just like that. And I'm going to make some odd shapes. I'm going to take this rectangle. I'm going to split it up in 4. So I'm making a center line. Then I'm making a line from my center line to the top line. That would give us another center line. So now we can just add that center line. We can use our mirror function. We click on this line. We go to our mirror line. And we click on the middle line to mirror. And we click OK. Then we have these 4 blocks. I'm going to press L again for line. And I'm just going to make shapes like these from corner to corner. You can use any type of shape you want. I just like using this. I'm just going to speed it up by using the mirror function and clicking on these. Just like that. What I'm going to do now is press E for extrude. And firstly, I'm going to extrude all of these. Make sure that what you extrude is not connected. If you're going to extrude it like that, it would extrude all of these parts. But I just want to extrude all of these blocks on their own. So I'm going to do -1. So it's going to extrude into the object by -1. And I'm going to press tab and -80 degrees. And it would give us a shape like this. And now we can go one step further. I'm just going to unhide our sketch. I'm going to extrude this one, this one, this one, and this one by -1, tab -80 degrees, just like that. And it would look something like this. And then we can do the other blocks as well, these ones. -1, tab -80. You can do whatever shape you want. I just want to show you the basics of what you can do with extruding. And you can get a shape like that. And now we're going to do a rectangular pattern of this again, or circular pattern. We click on circular pattern. I'm going to make sure faces is selected. object that we're selecting, let's do an axis. We're going to do the center axis, go back, select object, go down to our timeline, and we're going to click on all 3 of these extrusions that we made, and we're going to repeat it by 4 as it already shows, and we're just going to click OK, and we have it done. That looks cool. So now we can move on to our lid. So we're selecting our lid, we're going to snap our view to the back, to the front, it doesn't matter. Create a sketch, we're going to do an offset. I'm going to do an offset of -1, just like that, pressing Alpha line from one corner to another, from one corner to another. And we're going to do the exact same here, so it's clicking on those two, -1, tab, -80. We're going to do that again. So extrude these two, -1, tab, -80. Then we're going to do a circular pattern of these again. So I'm just going to hide my jar real quick. I'm going to choose circular pattern. Axis that I'm going to choose is this inside chamfer that we have. The objects that I'm going to choose is in our timeline, these two. And we're going to do it by 8. Just like that. And we are done with our jar. What's left is to color it in. And what we're going to do is press A to color it in. Plastic. I'm going to do ABS white. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to use the duplicate and drag it to that. The first one I'm going to edit. I'm dragging it in the color palette to the top left. You can drag it wherever you want. And then I'm just going to drag it to where I want it. So I want to do a neon blue type of color. So something like that. And the second one I'm going to edit. Do the same with that. And I want a neon orange. Something like that. Because that's the colors I'm going to print with. And we are done with that. And we are at the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you had any problems or any suggestions, please leave it in the comments. Otherwise, have a maker's day.